Quick side note, I'm sorry that this video is coming out so late. I was terribly sick and couldn't do anything for 2 weeks besides just wanting to die. And so yeah, this video is getting out a bit later than planned, but I hope you'll enjoy it anyways. And if you do, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Okay, thanks. Bye. Berserk is special. I'm sure me saying this comes to no surprise to many of you. Berserk is widely known as one of the best mangas or even stories in general out there. So when I first started reading Berserk, I knew that I would probably like it. And I wanted to know why so many people around the world love it so much, and I wanted to know what exactly was so special about it. Of course, I saw all those video titles about how Berserk is a romance or a philosophical tragedy or how it is genius or all those good things. But when I read it, I felt something different. Berserk is tragic, yes, and it deals with some very dark subject matter. And it is probably the only manga, or honestly the only medium ever, that I had to actively put down and pause for a day because I needed to recover from what I just witnessed. I'm sure all of you can guess which part that was. But what makes Berserk special for me is that I came back to it. Even after a scene traumatized me so much that I couldn't keep reading for a day, I still kept on reading the next day. Made in Abyss messes you up. Hunter x Hunter's Chimera and arc feels extremely hopeless and negative, and there are many more stories out there that deal with deep and dark themes. However, although I love those stories as well, I feel like they all are on the edge of falling into hopelessness. But Berserk somehow doesn't. Although it has some of the most gruesome and traumatizing scenes that leave a deep emotional wound behind, it still has hope. Hope that changed my life. Of course, there are other things that make this manga incredible. Whether it's one of the best written antagonists ever, the badass action scenes, the incredible aesthetic and atmosphere of the story, which inspired a whole video game franchise, or the unbelievably beautiful and detailed art of Kentaro Miura. Everything is just so well done that I could make a whole video on each of those aspects. It also deals with so many interesting philosophical and ideological themes, but the themes of struggle, hope, and finding purpose in life are the ones that I think are the most prevalent in the story, and those are the main reasons that make it so special for me. Because I think no other story hits those themes as close to home as Berserk. But how does... Fuck me. But how does it create these feelings? The most obvious answer and probably the most noticeable factor for it is of course the protagonist of the story, Guts. Guts is the personification of struggle. He struggles against destiny itself, he struggles against literal gods and demons even though he's just a mere human. And with struggle comes hope. And the more he struggles against worse and even worse odds, the more hope he creates. Listen, Guts' life sucks, okay? After reading all of Berserk up to the current chapter, I can confidently confirm this guy's life sucks huge ass. But still, he keeps fighting, he keeps struggling, because maybe, just maybe, there is a purpose for him in life despite swinging a huge hunk of iron around. From his birth on, Guts was alone. The only thing that was always by his side was his sword. So he didn't have a purpose despite swinging that sword around and using it to fight. Eventually though, he does find a family and friends for himself. He is finally not alone anymore. But because he still had no purpose, and because Griffith pretty much made it clear to him that he will probably never call him a friend as long as he has no purpose, Guts leaves to find it. Campfire of Dreams is such an amazing chapter because it perfectly displays the feeling of being lost in life, having no purpose and trying to find your dreams. But when Guts leaves, he gets punished for it. When he finally wanted to find purpose, when he finally had a family, it gets stripped away from him in the most horrific way imaginable. However, that doesn't stop him. There's still hope left because at least 2 members of his found family survived. Now, as a first reaction, Guts drowns himself in his anger and hatred. He makes revenge his purpose. Or at least that's what he wants to do. But when he realizes that all he did was fleeing from facing the broken Casca, which in a way is also a constant reminder for him of his own failures, he finally makes saving her his real purpose. And now that he has a real purpose, he also can heal the damages he himself has received. And as a nice side bonus, the friends he makes along the way stay with him, because he inspires them. It is no longer Griffith that inspires his companions, it's himself. Throughout Guts' life, he had maybe 2 moments of real peace, and both of those were followed up by the most fucked up moments in his life. Not only that, but they were both caused by the one man he once would have given his life for. The later of those fucked up moments also almost made me scramble this whole video, because it genuinely felt as if this was the moment where Guts breaks. He has no hope anymore, he can't keep on fighting. For the first time since I started reading Berserk, it felt absolutely hopeless to me. But then this panel showed up in the latest chapter, and suddenly I realized there is still a small glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, everything will turn out okay. Because this time, Guts is not alone anymore. Now more than ever, Griffith is the one that feels alone. Because Guts fights so much, he inspires other people like Farnes and Shirke to do the same. And so the result are people that rise up against Griffith from every side. Guts may have started to fight alone, but exactly because of that, he inspired other people to help him and stay with him. So I'm sure that he also will find the strength to continue fighting, but this time he won't do it alone anymore. Berserk and Guts' soul, in my opinion, are about struggling to find purpose in life and the hope that comes along with that. And of course there's a lot more to the character than just that, but this core theme is what I think inspires me and so many other people so much. Guts struggles to find purpose in a world that literally destined him to fail. This theme of destiny is even embedded within the story itself. You can argue that it is written like a tragedy, but that only makes it better, because the story structure itself is hinting on the fact that Guts will fail. And he has failed multiple times now, but the key thing is that he always gets back up despite failing, which makes him all the more human. He gives us hope because even he, that has gone through all this shit in his life, gets back up and struggles against this literal structure of the story. And that is what makes Berserk, in my opinion, one of the most positive stories I've ever experienced. Because it inspires me to hope, to struggle, and to find purpose against impossible odds, just like Guts does. And while I wrote the script for this video, I realized that it doesn't even matter if Guts fails in the end or if Berserk has a tragic ending. Which I honestly fully believe it will not, but it doesn't matter because it already showed us these themes of struggle and hope so well. It already did change my life, since I, and I'm sure some of you as well, felt lost in life, and I still do from time to time. Everyone does, but Berserk teaches us how to struggle and fight no matter how dark life gets and no matter how lost we feel. But most importantly, that it is okay to fail. You just have to get back up and keep struggling and keep fighting, even if it seems impossible. Because that is what life is all about, because that gives us hope. And that is what Berserk teaches us, how to hope. And I absolutely believe it will continue to do so in the future.